Okay, I'm going to start with our okay, do we have everybody in? Thank you very much. We'll proceed with the vote. So as a reminder, please state your name, whether you have any conflicts of interest, and your vote. And I'm going to start right now with Dr. Bell.
Bell, no conflicts, yes.
Thank you. Ms. McNally.
McNally, no conflicts, yes.
Thank you. Dr. Lair.
Lair, no conflicts, yes.
Ms. Bata.
Bata, no conflicts, yes.
Dr. Brooks.
Brooks, no conflicts, yes.
Dr. Daly.
Daly, no conflicts, yes.
Dr. Sanchez.
Sanchez, no conflict, yes.
Dr. Shaw.
Shaw, no conflicts, yes.
Dr. Long.
Long, no conflict, yes.
Dr. Cotton.
Cotton, no conflicts, yes.
Dr. Cineas.
Cineas, no conflicts, yes.
Dr. Paling.
Paling, no conflict, yes.
Lee, no conflicts, yes. Dr. Talbot.
Talbot, no conflicts, yes.
Dr. Chen.
Chen, no conflicts, yes.
Thank you. Dr. Morton.
And the motion passed 15 unanimously in favor.
What's happening, good people? Just here to make a follow-up video to the Cat Dog Cat's unelected official vote to add the childhood C19 taxon to the schedule. So just like we all assumed, they unanimously voted again on yesterday, Thursday the 20th, to add the taxon to the schedule. I almost said it. Whew. Yeah. So starting with 2023, it's going to be recommended to be on the schedule. And they're just trying to make it a clear point. Hey, we're not mandating it. It's not a mandate. But yeah. Okay. So that ultimately leads the final decision up to the individual states, which in fact pumps up the battle of the left-right paradigm. So we all know where that could lead. So yeah, let's get into this. Cat Dog Cat Group endorses adding C shots to recommended taxon schedule. The unanimous recommendation to add the taxon to the annual schedule does not mandate the shots or preclude untoxinated kids from attending school. We want to make sure they go ahead and throw that in there because they know that is the conservative claim. Yep, have to keep that debate alive. They always have to show a poor child here. She looks scared, like, oh my goodness, she's doing what her parent told her to do. Yeah, hold your support toy or whatever. Yeah. So let's read some of this. An advisory committee, unelected people with zero authority to the Cat Dog Cat Control and Prevention, voted Thursday in favor for adding the C taxon to the recommended immunization schedule for children and adults. Children 6 months and older, as well as adults, should get the C taxon plus booster seats when they are eligible for it, the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices said in a unanimous vote. Yeah, the Cat Dog Cats Advisory Committee meets every year to review the toxination schedule and make updates. The schedule is meant to help guide doctors in determining when to administer a number of important toxinations, particularly for children, of course, including toxinations for polio, measles, whooping cough, and tetanus. The decision to officially add the C toxination to the schedule now goes to the Cat Dog Cat. The agency is expected to sign off on the recommendation, but is not required to do so. Yeah, they just want to just throw these little tidbits in to kind of make you think it's okay. But yeah. Anyway, the recommended immunization schedule is not a taxon mandate. States and local jurisdictions make their own rules about which taxons are required for school attendance. Moving C19 to the recommended immunization schedule does not impact what taxons are required for school entrance, if any. Yeah, sure. The director of Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention said during Thursday's ACIP meeting, local control matters. And we honor that decision around school entrance for taxon rests where it did before, which is with the state level. the county level, and at the municipal level, if it exists at all. Okay. We've seen all this play out before. Just this is playing out exactly how the emergency played out when it was first declared, but I'm going to get into all that. But yeah, so for example, the cat added the HPV taxone to the recommended schedule in 2006. Since then, just a handful of states and territories have mandated the taxones for public school attendance. Puerto Rico, Rhode Island, and Washington, D.C. require HPV taxones for boys and girls. Virginia requires the taxones for girls only. So, but was this made a big deal though? Was there video footage of them voting on it? Did this affect what's going to happen in the entire world? Did this affect the adults also? Like, come on now. Like, I'm just saying, this is not the same thing, bruh. I'm just saying. All right, so let's get a move on here. Now, this article came out on the 19th. WHO says C19 is still a global health emergency. So, guys, this thing is far from over. And of course, the snake on the staff had to make its appearance because that's what's running this thing on the 33 quadrant non-stationary plane map here, because we know what the real truth is. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But hey, the World Health Organization said Wednesday that C19 remains a global emergency nearly 3 years after it was first declared as one. The WHO's Emergency Committee first made the declaration for C19 on January 30th, 2020. There's a 1 and a 3. There's a 13. Oh, I'm going to get into that number 13. I've got some stuff to show y'all. I'm trying to tell you. Such a determination can help accelerate research, funding, and international public health measures. Public health measures. That makes me think of what China is going through right now. They call them measures now. They don't call them the L word. That LOCK down word. Yeah, I'm not even sure if we can say that. Who knows? Public health measures to contain a disease. Like, how can you contain something that's never been isolated? But yeah, let's not even go there. All right, so the UN agency has said in recent months that while cases are falling in parts of the world, countries still need to maintain their vigilance and push to get their most vulnerable populations toxinated. Yeah, they want everyone to have this thing, and they're going to inject more money into psychological operations to getting more people convinced into getting it, voting it onto the schedule, get the babies toxinated fresh out of the womb, and they're going to go from there. So, as I read this article and saw this number 13 right here, it just kind of led me down a quick rabbit hole that I wanted to share with you. So, do we all remember who initiated this entire thing? Who sprung it all into action? None other than Donald T. Rump. None other. Who on Friday, March 13th, 2020, declared it a national emergency. So since that happened, I had always thought about they don't do anything by accident, first and foremost. Okay. So we cannot forget what this guy did. The world as we knew it at the time ended. Now we're on to a completely new ball game for the entire world. The first time in recorded human history that a single event affected the entire world. So let's look into that a little bit in case people forgot. Sometimes you have to remind people. So this is on TrumpWhiteHouse.archives.gov. Proclamation on declaring a national emergency concerning the novel CV outbreak, issued on March 13th, 2020. 33. There's just a couple things I want to show you guys in here. This is T. Rump listing his reasoning as to why he did what he did, why he decided to end the world as we knew it. So let's go. I just want to point out a couple things. Now, therefore, I, Donald J. T. Rump, President of the United States, by the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including sections 201, event 201, and 301. We've got a number 13 of the National Emergencies Act. And consistent with, the Section Social Security Act, The section that's amended, do hereby find and proclaim the C19 outbreak in the United States constitutes a national emergency beginning March 1st, 2020. There goes yet another 13. The third month, first day, we've got a 13 right here backwards. 2020. Pursuant to this declaration, I direct as follows. So he begins to list out the reasons why he did it and why, the C was a so-called emergency. Signed, Donald T. Rump. So, yeah, we cannot forget that this guy signed all of this and sprung all of this into action. So, yeah, why am I talking about all this? Well, what's the most popular Friday the 13th in media? None other than Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, the final chapter. So, with all the symbolism surrounding this, I just want to show you some numbers. This was declared on Friday the 13th for the national emergency, Friday the 13th, 2020. Wonder why this was so popular, Friday the 13th. So let's just look at some numbers. This film was supposed to be the final installment into the final 13th horror franchise. So I'm sure most of you know who Jason Voorhees is, but we've got an interesting movie cover here with the one-eye symbolism there. Can't forget that. But let's just take a look at some of these numbers. Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is a 1984 American slasher film. So we know 1984 is very important with George Orwell and censorship and all of that, and describing a, just a wicked future. But yeah, I just find it very interesting. That's when this released. So let's keep going with this. So the film released 1984 on April 13th. Of course, there's a number 13. The running time is 91 minutes. We've got a 19 backwards, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, there's your C19 right there. So the budget was $2.6 million, but it made $33 million. Ding, in the box office, okay? I mean, what can a decode be without the number 33? It's just gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? So I find it very interesting that T. Rump was the one who sprung this all into place on Friday the 13th. And I forgot to mention one thing. The main character of this movie, his hobby was making masks, like horror masks. So I know I've discussed some of this on my channel before, but I'm going to explain the reason why I'm doing it again. So just for people who may not have seen that video, I did it a while ago, maybe over a year ago. But yeah, the main character, Tommy Jarvis, in Friday the 13th final chapter, his hobby was making masks. And masks have been the center of debate since he declared the national emergency and turned the world upside down. So yeah. And one other thing, what's super creepy about this? Jason Voorhees and T. Rump almost have the same birthday. So I know Casey from Enter the Stars has gone into this like super deep. So I'm only going to scratch the surface, but I got a few numbers I just want to share with you guys. So the character, Jason Voorhees' birthday is June 13th, 1946. T. Rump's birthday is June 14th, 1946. Literally one day off. Their birthday is nearly the same. So this guy declared the national emergency on Friday, March 13th, 2020. And his birthday is almost the same as the Friday the 13th serial killer. I'm just saying, like, come on, you can't make this stuff up. One day off, like, come on. That is crazy, right? Yeah. So, yeah, the movie grossed $33 million. 91 minutes long. You got your 19. Released on April 13th. There's another 13. 1984. So you've got the censorship and the crazy future. There's a word I'm looking for that they always use to dystopian. That's the word I was looking for. Yes, with the dystopian future. Oh, and here goes a 9. 9 million tickets sold. So if you know the symbology of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, they say you unlock the secrets of the world or whatever, blah, blah, but only Christ can do that. So anyway, but I just thought that was an honorable mention. They sold 9 million tickets. So yeah, let's keep going with this. So Friday the 13th, the final chapter, was supposed to be the final installment of the movie. Towards the end of the movie, Tommy Jarvis, the one who makes the mask, shaves his head bald, There's a connection between demonic possession and going bald with the alopecia and all that with the C toxone. So that was towards the end of the movie. The next installment of this film, however, I find very interesting. I'm not sure if Casey from Into the Stars went into this, but the next installment was Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. Now, that kind of puts me in the mindset of like, okay, so this movie was titled A New Beginning, and that makes me think of how the world ended as we knew it to bring in their new world, how they're building back better to bring in, a new world order, so to speak, a new beginning, new like creatures in Satan's image, if you know what I'm getting at there with that, a new beginning, a new everything, so to speak. I mean, a new world order is still the old world order. The Bible tells us there's nothing new under the sun, but they wish it was new. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting that they named the next installment A New Beginning. So let's read about some of this. So A New Beginning, also known as Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, released a year later in 1985. So there's a few numbers I wanted to show you guys. Let's see. This movie released on March 22nd, 1985. We've got a 322, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Skull and Bones. Like, come on, you cannot make this stuff up. Look, this running time was 92 minutes, so it was almost 91 minutes or 19 backwards. Almost there, not quite though. The budget was $2.2 million. Box office was 22 million. So you've got 1111. You've got two master numbers right here. Right here. 1111, or the number of magic according to Aleister Crowley. The number of magic, the master number. That's why he started spelling magic with a K at the end of it, since K is the 11th letter of the alphabet. So there's a lot of deep sorcery going on here, So I thought to myself, March 22nd, 1985. Let's look that up. So did a little research here on this date. Dates tell stories. I'm trying to tell you. So on dayoftheweek.org, I looked up March 22nd, 1985, the release date of Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. March 22nd, 1985 was the 81st day of the year. 81st or 18 or 666. Just trying to tell you. So March 22nd, 1985 was the 81st day of the year. 1985 in the Gregorian calendar, there were 284 days remaining until the end of the year. 284 days. So I always have to check the mirror date. Just following Casey, the Enter the Stars channel, just for years. Man, I've learned a lot of things from that guy. So I thought I'd look at the mirror date of March 22nd, 1985. So a mirror date directly relates to this number here. So since there were 284 days remaining until the end of the year, I looked up what is the 284th day of the year, which just so happened to be October 11th. There you go. You've got the number of magic, or the master number, or whatever you want to call it. So I just thought that was pretty crazy. Like, wow. So the mirror date of when Friday the 13th, A New Beginning or New World Order released was March 22nd, 1985. The mirror date is October 11th. So thought that was interesting. So I thought I'd take it a step further. So, okay, so, October 11th. Yeah. So, what does that have to do with anything? So I just thought I'd just do a quick search. What happened on October 11th? Something very interesting happened on October 11th. So 1968, NASA launches Apollo 7, the first successful manned Apollo mission. Wow, I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, wow, that was on October 11th. The number of magic, and we understand, space, that what they tell us about space is not real. And who just so happens to be the angel of the bottomless pit? Apollyon, or Abaddon. And T. Rump has his 66th floor penthouse decked out in Apollo statues. All this stuff connects, guys. I'm just trying to tell you. Like, Wow. So the mirror date of that film was when NASA launched Apollo 7. Okay. And then George Washington is posthumously promoted to the grade of General of the Armies. Okay. So 1984, aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger, astronaut Catherine D. Sullivan becomes the first American woman to perform a spacewalk. Woman, space. Come on, guys. And ultimately all of this is to get her, to get the seed of the woman, because we're all in this together, right? Yeah. So in retrospect, and to get the seed of the woman, October 11th also just so happens to be the International Day of the Girl Child. So yeah, the UN declared it the girl child. In 2011, the number of magic, the United Nations declared October 11th as an International Day of the Girl Child due to the advocacy seen around the world. The UN encourages increased activism. So I thought I'd look that up. Like, what is that? Because I hadn't actually heard of this International Day of the Girl Child. So I thought I'd look it up. International Day of the Girl Child, October 11th. On October 11th, the International Day of the Girl seeks to bring awareness and solutions to the unique challenges that girls around the world face every day. Day of the Girl. From the moment a child is born, she can grow up to be a scientist, author, business leader, mother, teacher, or anything she may choose to be, providing her with healthy options, education, and resources to make her own choices means removing some of the obstacles she faces. So, depending on where she lives, a young girl's challenges will vary, and how we approach addressing those issues will change. During International Day of the Girl, join the global call to action. Everything is global. Global. So, create real solutions, listen to the aspiration of young women, mentor someone who will someday become the challenges she faces, who will someday overcome the challenges she faces. So, I just thought that was interesting that they declared October 11th the National Day of the Girl Child, and all of this is about getting the seed of the woman. So yeah, I just want to share some quick thoughts on that. So isn't that interesting, guys? Like, y'all tell me what y'all think about that. Like, of all days, October 11th, the number of magic is the International Day of the Girl Child, which just so happens to be the mirror date of when the Friday the 13th movie released, A New Beginning, A New World Order. So can't make this stuff up. So the point of this video is, what I'm trying to say is that there's so much symbolism surrounding the C scamdemic, that some people feel like it's over, like they're pushing it under the rug, like they're gonna move on to something else. But no, boys and girls. I feel like they're just getting started. I feel like we have not seen the end of it. They want everybody toxinated, and we're just only seeing the beginning of this thing. There's far too much symbolism involved with it. And this is the first event in human recorded history that has affected the entire world simultaneously. And Hollywood has put so much money into it. For example, here's Captain America with the C bottle back there, and you've got the spike, back there. Just right there, just in your face, So why take the time to do all of this if it doesn't really matter, if this is going to be a one-off thing and they're just going to push it to the side? I feel like they're going to keep going with this. They're going to keep injecting more money into the psychological operations for it. They're going to keep going with this. So I've got one other thing for you guys that I saved for the end of the video. Now, I wanted to look up March 13th, 2020. This was the day that the T-Rump declared all of this a national emergency that changed the world as we knew it. March 13th, 2020 was the 73rd day of the year. And of the year of the 2020 Gregorian calendar. Sorry about that. There were 293 days left remaining as the end of the year. So I was curious. I don't, Casey probably already looked into this, but, this just knocked my socks off. I looked into it, like, what was the mirror date of the 293rd day of the year? Which was Thursday, October 20th, was the mirror date of T-Rump declaring a national emergency. So the mirror date just brought us full circle of the cat voting unanimously to add the taxon to the childhood schedule. So October 19th was the first date they voted 15 and 0 to add it to the schedule. Then Thursday, October 20th was their second vote to add the C to the taxone schedule for 2023. And here we go. 23 is what? 2 divided by 3.6666666. Yeah, guys, there's some wicked sorcery going on here. All of this stuff connects. We have not seen the end of this thing. In fact, I feel like we're just seeing the beginning. This is going to continue to get more wicked and more wicked. So you have to stay vigilant, have to stay on top of these things. So that could just kind of knock my socks off. Like the mirror date of T Rump declaring a national emergency just so happens to be October 20th. That was the second date that they voted unanimously to add it to the toxination schedule for children and adults 6 months and up. Okay. And the number of magic is the day of the girl child, the seed of the woman, because we're all in this together to get her, the seed of the woman. All of this goes back to the garden, the woman. Crazy, right? So yeah, I just thought I'd share some thoughts with you because man, we just got to stay on top of things. And we cannot forget that T Rump is most definitely involved. So, of course, we know what Biden is, and obviously that's the dark magic side, but we cannot forget who sprung it all into action. So yeah, that's all I want to share with you guys. So give me your thoughts, sound off in the comments. Let me know, am I tripping, am I reaching? How you feeling about all of this? And yeah, if you can homeschool, do what you got to do, but those who, push to the end, shall be saved. We just have to persevere. We have to keep going. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and stop running my mouth. But where the paranoia is most certainly uncool. Thank you all so much for watching. Be this change you want to see. God bless you all. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm out of here.